But I would never look at, unless you're hiring for a technology job, I would never use technology to judge you or to give you a test. I've been in those positions where I have hired and also fired people. And it basically, for me, it came down to, could you carry on a good conversation? Were you teachable? Because I really didn't care what you knew before you got here. But were you teachable? And were you just a good person? Were you a nice, pleasant person? Those are the things that I looked at. Never looked at a test. You never gave a test. When I did interviews and they would give me a test, I would leave. Because the fact of the matter is, as we all know, you have test takers, and then you got guys that do. I know some of the most brilliant people in the world. I've had the opportunity to meet them, talk to them, doctors, PhDs, and stuff. But when they had a flat tire, they couldn't change it. Now, granted, they got someone else to do it for them. But the reality of it is that, just because you're book smart doesn't actually make you smart. Doesn't make you have this thing called common sense. So now, they're developing these tools that they will use to determine if you get hired and fired. And of course, they're going to employ them. I mean, that's what corporations do. I've always said you're either a slave to the corporation or you're a slave to the government. Take your pick. In today's society, I'm not part of that organization. I'm a free man. I believe in freedom. If I want to go out, it's unfortunate I couldn't play the song, but a country boy can survive. That song hits home with me. Being in a cabin in the mountains, doing the things that I need to do to take care of my family and stuff. That would be the perfect life for me. So with that, we talked about that. Now, I know you guys have been waiting. I'm sure a lot of you guys have already Googled it because you're impatient. Put it into Google because you were impatient. You couldn't wait. But on the NRA news, Second Amendment right, this is crazy. And it's not Mayor Bloomberg. I'll just go ahead and throw that out there. I can pretty much guarantee it's not going to be Mayor Bloomberg. But the governor of California today, Jerry Brown, vetoed a gun bill, which would have been considered the most restrictive gun ban, anti-gun bill that has ever been seen in America. He vetoed it. And this is what he said. I don't believe that this bill's blanket ban on semi-automatic rifles would reduce criminal activity or enhance public safety enough to warrant the infringement of gun owner rights. Hello? I'm going to read that to you again. This is Governor Jerry Brown of the state of California. I don't believe that this bill's blanket ban on semi-automatic rifles would reduce criminal activity or enhance public safety enough to warrant the infringement of gun owners' rights. There you go. Who would ever think it? Now if we can just get all the other gun grabbers out there to think that way. The reality of it is, and there's a lot of talk about, armed society, you have more issues, all that. So the reality of it is this. I live in the great state of Wisconsin. Wisconsin passed a gun bill, and they're actually in the process, and I don't know if they passed this new bill, but Governor Scott Walker was in the process of concealed carry is what they passed. But Governor Scott Walker wanted to take it one step further. He wanted to allow Wisconsin citizens to be able to purchase a firearm in any state. Typically what happens, as you guys know, when you buy a firearm, you actually have to have it shipped to a dealer within your state, unless you're doing a private transaction. But if you're doing a business transaction, going to Gun World or wherever out in Oklahoma or wherever I'm at, and I want to buy a gun, I can buy it, or he's proposing a law that will allow me to buy it right there at that location. So when we get back, we're going to be talking about some of the other news that's out there on the web. We're going to kind of clean it up for the week. I hope everybody has a good week. I hope you guys have things planned with your family and your friends. Get out there. It's been a rough week for all of us, and I hope you enjoy it. But we got about 10 more minutes left. I'm going to take a break. When we get back, we'll just kind of wrap things up. You're listening to Jeff Norton of the Midnight Patriot Radio Show.
In a moment, cancer changed our lives forever.
We were told nothing could be done to enjoy these final moments together.
But in that moment, when all seemed lost, St. Jude Children's Research Hospital gave us hope.
Because at this moment, St. Jude Children's Research Hospital is saving lives with pioneering research and care. We're changing the way the world treats childhood cancer by sharing our discoveries with doctors and scientists everywhere.
And we'll never have to pay St. Jude for anything, ever.
At this moment, she wants to be in her own bed.
I want to be back at school with my friends. I want to be outside playing.
Please take a moment and join St. Jude in finding cures and saving children. Visit stjude.org.
America, welcome home the brave. The brave men and women who serve their country are coming home. Home to their cities and towns. Home to their mountains and valleys. Home to their families and friends. Home to America. Some of these warriors are coming home with wounds you can see, and some with wounds you can't see, like post-traumatic stress disorder. Wounded Warrior Project was created to provide the support these wounded veterans need to ensure their return to America is well-adjusted and successful. But we need your help to ensure that our mission is a success. Help us honor and empower these wounded warriors. Contact us at findwwp.org. America, welcome home the brave.
You're listening to the Midnight Patriot Radio Show with your host, Jeff Norton. You can reach us here every Monday through Friday from 9 p.m. Central Standard Time to whenever. Depends on how many calls we get and conversations we have. So if you want to give us a call, you can give us a call at 347-205-9899. That's 347-205-9899. You better get them in quick because the lines will actually be shutting down in about another 6 minutes and 3 seconds. So with that, as we came back, we'll just kind of wrap up this week. Like I said, I hope most important thing is forget about what's going on in our country and everything this weekend. And I don't want to say forget about it because it's always on our Patriots' mind. But spend time with your family. Let them know that you care about them. Tell them you love them. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what patriots do. That's what good Christian people do. And, we talk about Christian people. Rand Paul, we were talking about this earlier today, but Rand Paul actually was at a meeting earlier today, and he was talking about, in all the haze of what's going on and everything, we already know, we already have a general idea. Well, I'll just go ahead and say it. We already know what our president thinks about Christians. I'll just say it. I don't care. Shut my Twitter feed down. I don't care. I'll just get another one. So the reality of it is we already know. But, this is a general consensus. And in the fog of what's going on around the world today and everything, or what's going on here in the United States, we sometimes forget. And, Senator Rand Paul brought it back. He was actually at a Values Voter Summit today, which is the same, and I'll play that with Cruz as well. You got to hear how he handles his heckler. But if we go over, we'll go over. We'll just shut the phone lines down, but we'll continue this feed on Spreaker so we can get these out there, and then we'll wrap it up for the night and everything. But here's Senator Rand Paul at the Values Voter Summit earlier today.
To the White House, and does anybody have a message that I can carry to the president? And I am in a Toyota Prius, so I'm not sure if I can take all of his supporters with me, but if you need a ride back to the White House, we do have a Prius. We'll take you along. Today I want to talk about something, though, that is serious. Today I want to talk about a war that the mainstream media is ignoring. From Boston to Zanzibar, there's a worldwide war on Christianity. Christians are being attacked around the world, but you won't hear much about it on the evening news because the answer's not convenient. It doesn't fit the narrative we have been told about radical Islam. The president tries to gloss over who's attacking and killing Christians. The media describes the killings as sectarian. But the truth is, a worldwide war on Christians is being waged by a fanatical element of Islam. Ever since 9/11, commentators have tried to avoid pointing fingers at Islam, which is somewhat fair. It is fair to point out that most Muslims are not committed to violence against Christians, but it's not the whole truth. The whole truth is, and we shouldn't let political correctness stand in the way of this truth, the whole truth is that there is a minority of Muslims who condone killing of Christians, but unfortunately that minority numbers in the tens of millions. Pew Research did a poll, and it indicated that 21% of Egyptians, 15% of Jordanians, who are many Jordanians are our friend, but 15%, 13% of Pakistani Muslims find terrorism acceptable, if not laudable. It's a minority to be sure, but if you add up the numbers in just 3 countries, it's over 40 million Muslims sympathize with violence against Christians. This shouldn't be understated. A Daily Telegraph survey indicated that there were 100,000 Muslims in Britain who fully supported the London subway bombings. 400,000 said they had some sympathy for these bombings. This is not a little problem, and it's not going away quickly. In Syria, there's an ancient Christian city called Malula, where they still speak Aramaic, the language that Jesus spoke. They've been Christians since the time of Christ. They're a small final outpost in the Middle East for Christians. The town was recently overrun by Islamic rebels. These Islamic rebels swarmed into the town, and they demanded that everyone convert to Islam or die. Sarkis el-Zakam stood up and he answered them. And he said, I'm a Christian, and if you want to kill me because I am, do so. These were Sarkis' last words. Sister Carmel of Damascus said of Sarkis, his death is true martyrdom, a death in odium fidei, or a death in the hatred of faith. Make no mistake, this is about your religion. Elsewhere in Syria, Islamic rebels have filmed beheadings of their captives. They've filmed themselves eating the heart of their enemy. 2 Christian bishops have been kidnapped, and 1 priest was recently killed. These rebels are allies of the Islamic rebels that President Obama is now arming. We are now arming Islamic rebels who are allied with Al-Qaeda that attack